Thank you so much, Brother James. I'm sincerely very, very excited to be here once again. I'm so grateful that the Lord brought me to this country, this very, very beautiful country. And I'm so, so grateful that you people have loved me so, so much. You've supported me in many ways. You've cared for me. You've sincerely loved me. I'm so, so happy about that. You know, I've been talking to my brother Tom that when I get back to Uganda, I'll miss this country so, so much. I'll miss you people so much because you've turned my family, you've turned my people. And so when I get back, I'll miss you so, so, so much. I've actually been hearing from my family in Uganda. My wife, Harriet, is sending her greetings to all of you. And my children as well, they're greeting you. And so I'm happy that the Lord has kept them very, very well. And so I'm so excited. So excited to be here and also ready to, have questions. Anything that you would want to ask about Uganda, about our ministries there, please feel free to ask. I'm here to answer. I think the Lord will help me to answer some of those difficult questions. Yes, ma'am.
Is the government tolerant of Christian work over there, or is the government on your side? Do they encourage churches?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Thank you very much. You know, in Uganda, we have what we call freedom of worship. So our constitution of Uganda gives people to freely worship. So irrespective of what kind of denomination, what kind of religion, so they give that freedom of people to worship. And so by that, the government is very, very supportive to Christianity there. Because even the wife of our president is a Christian. She's a born-again Christian. And some of the children of our president are born-again Christians. And so we have many people who are cabinet ministers who are Christians, many members of parliaments who are Christians. And so the government there is very, very supportive of Christianity. And so we don't have any problem from the government. Yeah. Yes. She has very complicated questions. Okay, go ahead.
Are all Ugandans black?
What is that?
Are all Ugandans black and skin color?
Yes, most of the Ugandans are black. Uganda is found in Africa. And most of the African people are black. Uganda has also some other people who are white. We call them Muzungu. People like you. We have a few of them who come to do maybe some missionary work in Uganda. We have some Asians, like the Indians, who come to do business in some of our cities. We have Chinese in Kampala city. But basically, those are found in big cities. But in smaller places like where I live, there's no any white person there. So when a white person comes, all children gather around them. And they begin to say, Muzungu, Muzungu, Muzungu. Something like that. So, but it's very interesting that young children there love white people. And so they want to be wherever they are. They don't fear them, but they just want to just get closer to them.
Wacy, when we went there, some of the places we went, they had never seen a white person.
Sure.
We were the first white people they had ever seen. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But Ugandans like white people, generally, because all the white people that have come there have been so much loved. And in most cases, they don't want to leave our country. They want to stay there. There is a white missionary who came so many years ago. He's a Baptist white missionary by the names of Jack Smith. He stayed in Uganda. He was so much loved. And then he finally made a will that when he dies, let him be buried in Uganda. Mm-hmm. And so, recently, he got very sick and died. And so we buried him in Uganda. So, but that was just of his special love for Uganda. He said, I love this country so much, and when I die, please bury me in this country. So Uganda is a very nice country, and it welcomes white people. Yeah.
Good question, Wacy.
Yeah.
What's the most overwhelming thing you've seen or done since you've been here?
Overwhelming thing that
Yeah,
I've seen.
like what's the thing that's just like overwhelmed you?
Blows
Like,
your mind.
I've actually, the technology here is so sophisticated, it's so advanced that it fascinates me wherever I go. It actually surprises me wherever I go. I saw a flying car, which I never thought that I would ever see in my life. You know, we visited a place that has a flying car, a car that flies like a plane, and it's a car. Oh, that really fascinated
We
me.
would all have them by now.
So, and all kind of technological things here are so high tech, high standard, more than what we see in our country, Uganda. So it fascinates me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
What's the song Grace got you in your language?
What's that?
what'd you say? I didn't.
What's the song Grace got you in his language?
How would you say it?
How would you say grace got you?
The
God's
grace.
grace got you.
That song.
Like, I don't think you
You
know
don't
that
know
song.
about
You don't know that song?
The
You can
grace.
say
No,
the
no.
words.
I don't
How do you
know.
say grace in Uganda?
The word grace in Uganda is ekisa.
Akisa.
Ekisa. Ekisa.
Kiss.
So when you want to say the grace of God, you say ekisa cha katonda. Katonda is God. Grace is ekisa. Sorry.
I give it to you.
Yeah. So if you want to say the grace of God, you say ekisa cha katonda. Katonda is God. So ekisa is grace. Okay. Yes.
The people in your church, how do they make a living? Are they farmers or do they have some sort of industry? How do they go about their lives? I mean, what kind of is it a rural community? Do they have farms or?
Well, the people in our church, basically we call them peasant farmers. Peasant farmers meaning that they are small scale farmers. They have small gardens, either small garden of coffee, small garden of beans, small gardens of maize, small gardens of peanuts, but much of that is just cultivated for eating, for consumption at home, not much for sale, because they don't have bigger places where to plant a lot of crops where they can get money to sell. And what is contributing to that, what is causing that, is the overpopulation in our country. So many people and the land is small. So they just fragment it, they just create small pieces so that each one of them can get a smaller piece where to plant food for eating. Now, in any case, you get some extra crops for selling. Like coffee, you can sell it, but we don't have good prices for our coffee. If we had good prices for coffee, then maybe we'd be getting some reasonable amount of money. But the prices for coffee is not good. We are told that Brazil, the country called Brazil, is the leading producer of coffee in the world. And so, when Brazil gets much coffee the other side, when they grow more coffee or much coffee, then our prices in Uganda go down. But then we are also told that sometimes snow hits Brazil's coffee. And so when snow hits Brazil's coffee, our prices go up, you know? And maybe sometimes Ugandans are praying, maybe snow hit Brazil's coffee, so that our prices may go a little higher. But this is what sometimes happens. But people depend on God's grace in most cases. James has been there.
We're talking about subsistence. They just grow food for themselves, but there's no industry there. People don't go to work outside.
No industries. People don't go to work in those. There are no industries. And sometimes even food sometimes gets to be scarce, gets to be little. Because for us, we depend on rainy season to plant our crops. We don't do irrigation. You know irrigation? Just watering using like machines or something. We don't have that. So we just wait upon God to bring rain in a certain season. But sometimes rain delays to come. And now there is a bigger spell, a longer spell of very hot, dry season. And then most of the crops dry. And so when they dry, people just look for food here and there, no food. And now that's the reason why sometimes we just ask like leadership to send some money to the children the other side because they don't have what to eat. The crops have dried and no money. And so sometimes leadership sends money to them to buy food for families. So that's what happens. Yeah. Yes.
So I can imagine then in your church, you probably do a lot of praying for rain, you probably a lot of praying for the crops and
Yeah. So we do a lot of praying for everything because we depend upon God for each and every answer of our lives because things are really difficult there. And if it is not of God, I think we wouldn't have survived. But God gives us by His grace. Like there are no factories, there are no industries where people go and have jobs to work. The government has a few jobs, but very few. And those ones are usually occupied by people who stay there and don't leave. I mean, they stay there. So these young children who go to universities and study, so they don't have anywhere to go because these jobs are already occupied by some people. And so they keep on loitering around. Some of them just keep on doing some junk things in the village, or some of them just begin to create some, to have bad habits, maybe like stealing or doing such a kind of things. So that's what happens. We live by God's grace.
I think sometimes we have so much that we don't pray like they do. Because in America, we can take care of it all ourselves, right? And I think sometimes God puts us where we have to depend on Him fully. Whereas in Uganda, their prayer life, it's like God or it's it, right? And so I think that's one of the differences. When I go to Uganda, their walk is so different because I think their heart posture is just so dependent, on God. So I think we can learn a lot from them in that regard,
Even the poor people.
I think that's the reason. That's the reason why, like my brother James says, that's why we tend to be very dependent. And so if we get to be dependent, please forgive us. Don't. It's just because of the situation on the other side. And now, at least God has resourced you people a little more than us. And so we come and cry to you and say, please help us. And God uses you people to help us the other side. And what even makes it worse is sometimes we get bigger families. Bigger families, I told you of the population. Bigger families, Ugandans are very fertile. They produce a lot. They produce a lot. And now, like in my house, they produce a lot, but they also die a lot. Because of diseases, no good medical facilities, produce a lot, but they die a lot. Now, because they die a lot, you find that the older people die, and then they leave many children as orphans. And now these children, you have to take care of them. You people are still living, whether you like it or not. They are called extended families. You have to bring them in. So when James and Guinea came to my house, they found so many children.
I still don't know how many kids he has. I get confused because there's so many kids.
They got so surprised and said, "How do you take care of all these children?" I think about 15 of them. Yeah, in my family, and yet the income is very small. But we say God will take care of us. There's no salary, there's no what, but God still takes care of us in His own ways. Yes, sir.
Do you have any stores at all there?
What's
Stores. What kind of stores do you have?
Like shops?
Stores, shops.
Shops.
Stores.
Oh, yeah. It depends where you are. In a bigger city like Masaka City, there are some bigger, we call them wholesale shops, wholesale stores. But then in smaller places like where I live, there are what we call retail shops, smaller shops, where we can go and buy things to use at home. We buy things to use at home, things like soap, things like matchbox, things like sugar, things like salt, things like that. You buy them in a shop, come and use them at home. So we have them. Others are small, others are a little bigger in bigger cities. Yes, please.
Young people that have any drug problems, drug problems.
Yeah, sure. The drugs are there. People who are using drugs are there, and there are many. But the government is trying to regulate it. The government is trying to, by all means, to make sure that people don't use drugs. I think I'm even seeing it is worse here than Uganda, because I've had lots of stories connected to drug usage, drug abuse, a lot here than the other side. And if Ugandans had lots of drugs like here, I think we would all be finished, because they would have killed all of us, so they would have done all those bad things to us. But I think there's some control by the government, the other side, and when they find you know marijuana,
Yeah.
it's a herb, it's a weed that is grown, and if the government put up a law that if they don't want to find anyone planting that herb in either in their garden or in their compound, when they find it, whether you planted it or not, and they find it with you around, then you get arrested because of that. So people are uprooting them and are burning them so that they don't spread for people to use for drugs.
You said alcohol is a big problem there. Marijuana is a big problem there, but mainly alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Because when people are poor and depressed, a lot of them, just like here, they turn to alcohol, and so.
Yeah. Sure, alcohol is so high than here because, like my brother James says, when people have lots of problems, they want to appease them. They want to suppress them by being drunk, and so there's a lot of drinking there. Even women there drink, you find them going on the road like this, when they are drunk. So there's a lot of drinking, and because of that, there are also lots of abuses. Older people abuse children because they are not in their own senses because of drunkenness and many things just because of that influence. Yeah.
How do they get the alcohol? Do they have a still, or make it themselves, or go to the store or buy it?
They can make alcohol themselves. We have different kinds. We have what we call waragi. Waragi, that one is the toughest. You just take a small dose and then you begin to go like this.
That's like their moonshine. We have like moonshine.
Waragi is so tough. And so waragi is made out of bananas. And those bananas, people grow them. And so they grow them and they process their own waragi and then they begin to drink. You find them, all the heads are off, because of that waragi. And then there are also other kind. There is what we call tonto. Tonto is also made from bananas, but it's not as strong as waragi. But this other kind, like processed beer, they don't get money to buy because it is expensive. So they just take the other one that they can be able to make for themselves. Yes.
I know we're going to take up a love offering, but is there any specific things that we could bring that you could carry back, like soap or stuff? Or you just don't, you would rather just have money? Or what would you like to carry back with you? Is there any kind of thing, that we could collect, and you could take with you?
Well, that's a very good question. Someone said everything. But you know, if I carried money would be okay because it's not bulky. If you took property like shoes, like what, they fill your suitcase. When you go to the airport, they wait and they say, this is too much. Please take it back, or they confiscate it from you. But if you take money, I think you can use that money to buy something that you would have taken physically from here. You buy it over the other side because money is not bulky.
Is there a limit to how much you can take back, money-wise?
What's that?
Is there limits on how much you can bring back? Do they count your money or ask you to declare your money?
No. They
I
don't.
think what would happen is you would give it to him, and then we'll transfer it to him, to his phone, and then he'll get it in the phone.
Okay.
Because if we give him American money, then he'll have to exchange it, and he probably can't bring a whole lot.
Yeah, well,
Probably a limit.
Jenny, we send wires to my son in the Philippines. So just go to Bank of America, we have his account number, and we just send a wire there and make sure he gets it in US dollars. And it costs, they take like $10 out for a sizable amount of money that we send him. So if you can do a wire.
We also do Western Union and something called World Remit.
Okay.
And they don't really charge. high
So
fees.
whichever way you want to do it, it's okay. Whichever way you want to do it, you can do it. So you can give cash, you can give through Guinea and Jimmy, whatever you want to do. So, but yeah, that's it. I think I've answered that question.
Wacy?
Mm-hmm.
Could you take home a football?
What is that?
Take home a football?
Oh.
Like American football or a soccer?
American football.
I think in Uganda we use soccer. We play soccer. Soccer is different from American football. In Uganda, American football is not even known. They
Like
don't know
just to
it.
show people.
The what?
Like just to show people.
Oh, to show. Well,
We could bring one.
yeah, I can take one, but if you deflate it, deflate it, put pressure out of it so that it's not bulky in the bag. So if it is deflated, then I can put it in my bag and take it.
And then you can air it back up when you get there.
What is that?
She's just talking about the football.
Oh,
You can fill it with air when you get there.
yeah, we can feel it. We can inflate it while we are there, and then we play it.
Yeah.
Children play it.
When people are poor and desperate and they are seeking anything to get out of poverty, that opens the door for false teaching. That opens the door for people to come in and try to exploit people. Can you talk a little bit about that and then what Uganda is doing to help educate and make the church stronger against that?
Well, teachings like prosperity gospel is so rampant there in our country. It's much because poor communities will very quickly embrace something that is promised to them, whether in a good way or in a bad way. So, prosperity preachers promise that if you do this, you'll get this money. If you do this, you'll get this wealth. If you those kind of things. And so Ugandans quickly embrace them because they are bad off, they are poor, and now here is someone promising them money. And now they will just grab it. And so churches are trying to teach against that, especially the Baptist church there. We teach people that be careful because all provisions of money, of wealth, is well catered for in the Bible. God speaks about it so clearly. Money is not bad in itself. And by the way, there are many places where God speaks about money in the Bible. But you shouldn't use it in a bad way. I mean, money should not come to you in a bad way. And someone should not use some ways of thinking that probably if they manipulated you, and now you can just apply those manipulative ways in order to get money. No. So we just teach them the best way of how the Bible talks about money and about how God talks about, His provisions. He's supplying His children. He's giving them money. He's giving them all the good things. So we teach them so that they just go by that instead of going about empty promises from people. Because it has caused so many problems. Some people are promised and say you'll get these millions of shillings, and now they don't get it. And maybe these are new Christians. So when they don't get it, they say, oh, these people lied to me, and they move out of the church. So that's a big problem, the other side. But if someone is well taught, he will definitely understand that it's God who supplies. Whether that supply has come, they will be happy. Whether it has not come, they will wait upon God, waiting upon His timing for that supply to come. And so people will be happy. That's why you see Africans, when they are well taught, they become so happy, even if they don't have money. Their hearts are happy. Their hearts are happy. Yeah. Yes, please.
How far would $100 go where you live? Would that be considered a lot of money?
$100 would be 350,000 Uganda shillings. Well, it can buy at least some reasonable things in Uganda. Okay. Yes, sir.
Kind of two questions. Have you gained any weight since you've been here? And then what's your favorite food you ate while you're here?
So when I touch my stomach, I just feel it beginning to come out. This is not the way it came. It was just very backward, but now it's beginning to come out. I hope my wife will ask me, why did you get that stomach? You didn't go with it.
And what was your favorite food you ate so far over here?
Yeah, but otherwise, I didn't weigh myself when I just come, but I think when I touch myself, I feel I've gained some bit of weight.
What's your favorite food you've eaten, Bill said? What's your favorite food in America you've eaten so far?
Steak.
Steak.
Steak was so good for me. Is that how you pronounce it? Steak. Steak, yeah. Well, very nice for me.
You got it.
That's our thing.
Yes.
Is there chili in Uganda?
Is that what?
Is there chili in Uganda?
Is there?
Chili, like
Chili?
beans with meat and like in a pot, red sauce.
Well, our staple food in Uganda is matoke. Matoke is bananas or plantain. Yeah, so that's what we basically.
I don't think so.
We don't have that. We don't have. Some Ugandans have not even heard about it.
Is there a word in Uganda for chili though?
Not if they don't eat it, probably not.
I know I'm going to miss you. So.
Pastor Abel,
Yes, please.
what's the cost of the ticket to come to the States?
What's the cost of a plane ticket
Oh.
to come to the United States?
I think it costs like maybe $700 US, between 800 and 700 US dollars.
His was 15.
But mine was paid for. I can't afford the money to bring me here and take me back. I can't. There's a missionary in Uganda, an American missionary works in Uganda. He's the one who paid for me to come for the Shepherds Conference in California. And so while I was there, we talked it over with Guinea and James that I should come here so that I talked to people about the ministry that we do in Uganda. And so they paid for my ticket from California to here.
Good.
So, yes. Yes, sir.
Do you take the Lord? We call it the Lord's Supper, communion. Do you take the bread and the juice? Like how do you do that in Uganda, your church?
Oh,
I've never done that there, so I'm curious.
Yeah. We do it. We do it a number of times. But what we usually use, we can use soda, and then we also use bread. Just make some pieces, and then we use some small cups. Before COVID came, people used to use maybe same cups. But when COVID came, say, government said stop. Each one of you should have their own cup. And so we use those cups, and then, but we also do it the biblical way. We know it that it is a biblical perspective. It's something from the Bible that we do it in remembrance of the death of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so that's why we do it. I mean, we don't take it as a sacrament. No, we just take it as an ordinance. Yeah, because we do it just for remembrance.
Do you do it in the middle of it? At your church service, you'll do like we do? You'll do the Lord's Supper in the service?
We usually do it after service.
After service? Okay.
Yeah, after service.
Yeah.
Mm. So, yes.
Yeah, we missed out a little bit. If you had $100, say, in America, and you could buy, say, 10 chickens for $100, how many chickens could you buy where you live? Would it go further in buying or less?
How much is one chicken in Uganda?
One chicken would be like, if it's a cock, a big cock, it would be like 50,000. Then a hen, a female, will be like 40,000 Uganda shillings. So I don't know what Guinea has to calculate for us. So out of 350, which is $100, you can buy 7 cocks.
So it's like $11 for a hen, around $10 for a hen, not for the rooster, but for the chicken.
Yes. Yeah, I can show you Ugandan money. I had some money that I reserved for Uganda. This is 1,000 shillings. 1,000 shillings. And this is 2,000 shillings. But this 2,000 shillings cannot buy something that $1 can buy here. This is less value. It cannot buy what the $1 can buy here. So you have to add this, and add this, and add this to make what $1 can buy here. See? And now this is 1,000. This is 2,000, and this is 5,000. 5,000, and now this is 10,000. 10,000.
Can I pass one through?
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah. But that one is just like $3. And then there's this 20,000. 20,000.
Is that 20,000 would be $5?
Oh, really?
And now there's this 50,000.
Abel, the chicken you said, about $11 for a chicken?
A chicken is, I think, around $11.
You know, around here, if you buy a hen, a full-grown hen, you're gonna pay about $11 for one hen.
How much do you, maybe you can give them this? And give them this also? And give them this also to see.
Lots of thousands.
Yeah.
How long do your church services last?
How long that the church service? Now the church service takes, because when we come in the morning, we begin with prayer time. Prayer time. We pray for those that have just come. And then from there, we just go into different Bible study groups. We have go to the Sunday school for children, we go to the Bible study for the youth, we got the Bible study for the adults, all the people. And then from there we come into the main service, all together. And then after the main service we go home. It takes like maybe 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. Yeah.
When someone gets saved in Uganda, when someone comes forward to accept Christ, they come and the pastor's standing like right here, and then they come, they're facing this way, right? Or they facing you or this way?
They can't face that.
They kneel, the pastor stands behind them, and they face the congregation, and they're like this, and then I think you pray for them, right?
Yeah.
And then
you can lead them in
that was different. I was like, huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can lead them in some words to probably confess a little bit. Like the Bible says that person confesses with their mouth and they believe in their heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Romans chapter 10, verse 9. So you can make them confess a little bit that today I've accepted Christ as my Lord.
Do they get baptized? When do they get baptized then?
It depends. We can't, it may. Thank you. So it depends. Sometimes we may take, after they have accepted Christ, we first of all take them through discipleship classes, and then we also teach them about baptism, and then we baptize them. It may take like maybe 2 months. Yeah. 2 or 3 months.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What kind of dangerous animals are there? And if there are, then what's their names in Ugandan?
What dangerous animals are in Uganda?
So we have the most dangerous animal is the lion, and we call it in Uganda empologoma. Can you say that? Empologoma. Empologoma. That's the name of a lion. Then we have another dangerous one is the leopard. The leopard, we call it engo. Engo. That's the leopard. Then another dangerous one would be the crocodile, which you call alligator here. The crocodile is also dangerous. We call it gonya. Gonya. Nya. Like the word segirinya. Gonya. We call it gonya. And then what else? I think those should be the most dangerous animals. The lion, the leopard, and then the alligator, which is crocodile on our side. But also some buffalo can be dangerous if you found them because they stay in game parks. If you went to them, they can hit you with their horns. And then the elephants also, but they usually don't attack people unless if you've caused trouble to them. But buffalo don't usually attack, elephants don't usually attack, but the lion will attack you, and the leopard will attack you, and the alligator will attack you.
Do you have trouble with, sorry.
What's
Yes.
cockroach in Ugandan?
Cockroach is called echiyenje. Can you say that? Echiyenje. 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 That's the cockroach.
The reason I asked is because yesterday a cockroach was
Oh.
I was like,
Terrorism. I mean, some of the African countries, we hear in our news about, a lot of
Terrorism.
beheadings, different things against Christians. In Uganda, you said it promotes Christianity. But do you have any concerns about terrorist groups coming and harming people?
No, we've not had any of that. The kind of people there that would think that would do those things are just, they are not extremists. They are not radicals. They are just the moderate kind of, religious groups. And so, no, we don't have such a kind of extremism in our country. And the government is trying so hard to control them. And our system, our security system begins right from from the grassroots, right from the house. We have what we call the LCs. LC1 is a local council member. He looks after security in that very, like 4 houses, then there is local council 1 person who is in charge of that. So any person who begins any bad activities, this person will immediately report them. And then we have LC2 who looks after maybe a bigger group. And the LC2 are everywhere, LC1 are everywhere, and LC2 are everywhere, LC3, LC4, and LC5 up to the district level. And so, because these kind of bad things begin from communities, and so immediately someone begins to bring such a bad idea, so he's immediately reported, because there are some people who are just taking up security within that community. Yeah. So it has not worked in Uganda.
Yeah, well, I know it's getting late. Any
One
final
more question.
questions?
Do men hunt for any animals over there to eat or to use for tools or their skin for clothing or?
Yeah, they hunt.
They hunt?
They hunt. Yeah, they hunt animals in the bushes. Yeah, for eating.
And
But
for-
they don't use guns. We don't have guns. They use spears, and they use, some of them can use bows and arrows, can use that. Yes.
So besides using the meat to eat, do they use any parts to make
Yeah, like the skins.
the skins?
I used to make like drums.
Okay.
Mhm. Then they can be used to make other art craft things, art pieces, those craft things.
Mhm.
So they use them to make many things. They used to use them for even dressing, but these days, not much. And they used to use them for covering themselves at night like a blanket. But if it's a bigger animal and has a big skin, they would use it to cover themselves at night.
What is the weather? Is the weather warm year round?
Yeah, it's warm throughout. It's warm throughout. Even in rainy days, it will not be very cold like here. It will still be warm. Warm, yeah.
And do the ladies make their clothing? Do they sew?
Yeah, some ladies would just sew and make clothes. Yes,
What are
please.
the schools like? Do all the children go to school? Does most of the people know how to read and write?
Yeah. I think if someone reaches and going school age, if they reach that, if a child reaches that, they have to go to school. But schools there, you have to pay fees. You have to pay fees, and now you don't have that fees, but you have to pay. So sometimes students are sent home to bring fees, and they sit. Maybe sometimes parents will probably sell something small and get little, and they come back and pay half of the money. And now they stay for some time, they send them back home, and they sit at home. The parent sells something small, pays some little money, the child comes back just like that. So, but children that are supported by leadership don't get that problem, because their school fees are paid for, their books are paid for, their food is paid for, so they don't have any problem like that.
Hard to learn when you're bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, sure. Mhm. All right. Is there any more questions? Yes.
How do people celebrate birthdays? Like, do they do
Oh,
bounce
good
house,
question.
or do they?
That's a
jump
big
off
difference.
trees?
Go
Or
ahead.
do they jump off trees and break their feet?
So how do you
Oh, be
celebrate?
young again.
How do you celebrate birthdays?
These ones I will not forget them. Even if I go back to Uganda, I will not forget them. They are very nice questions. So, birthdays, it's just the land families that know how to celebrate birthdays. Some people don't even know their birthdays. They don't know when they were born. People don't note down that someone has been born on such and such a day. During those times, some children would be birthed in banana plantations. Some women would give birth in banana plantation. Some women would give birth in the bush, and no one would be there to record a date. And so many of the Ugandans don't know their birth dates. But at least these ones who have gone to school can be able to record a date when they were born. And so it is just of recent when I'm seeing in Uganda people are beginning to celebrate birthdays. Because now the modern children will tell their parents, Dad, my birthday is this. Can we cook some plantain, matoke, and then we eat at home to show that we are celebrating my date. But they don't have big celebrations because money is not there. You don't have money to pay for someone's school fees, and now you celebrate a birthday. No way. No way.
But they throw a bucket of water on you.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine,
That's,
they
sure.
throw a
So
bucket of water on
instead
you.
of cooking food, instead of cooking food, instead of spending money, they just get a bucket of water. And now, if it is like you who is having a birthday, then they time you and they just surprise you without you knowing. Another whoa, and they pour water on you.
My daughter had a birthday over there, and they all of a sudden this bucket of water out of nowhere soaked. And she's like,
Can we listen from him?
How do you celebrate Easter?
How do we celebrate Easter? How do we celebrate Easter? We go to church. After church, we go home, and that is a good day for eating meat, because meat is not eaten every day in homes. We eat peanuts and beans in most cases, but in most cases beans and posho. But on a good day like Easter, we would eat meat, and then plantain and maybe some rice, because it's a big day. And then that's how we celebrate it. In the evening, sometimes people will go to a football match somewhere. Many people will go. Some people will stay in their homes and talk until the day ends. Not something like that. So that's how we celebrate it.
Well, good. Thank you, Pastor Abel.